I definitely inherited this entrepreneurial spirit. And I've always just loved the idea of like taking something from an idea all the way to a product and market and building a team around it. I mean, when I was a little kid, I used to pick flowers around the neighborhood and turn them into bouquets and resell them to my neighbors. I had a babysitting business, a car washing business, and I've really always loved to work. I'm somebody who became a parent a little bit later in life. You know, I was almost 40 when I gave birth to my son Mosi, who's now 3. And I will tell you that I am an incredibly optimistic person. I recognize that this is such a challenging time for many of us from a social justice perspective, a climate justice perspective, but I truly believe that the best of what we can do as a society, as humanity, we haven't even seen yet. I'm born and raised in San Francisco. We're here at my home, which is about 6 blocks away from where I grew up. My grandparents moved here during the Great Migration, which, as you know, is this time when millions of Black people moved from southern states to northern states, mostly to take advantage of new economic opportunities. They actually moved to San Francisco to create a dental practice serving this burgeoning Black community. And so that was really how the Collins family put down roots in San Francisco. I lived in New York for 14 years. Really just was so deeply involved in the restaurant scene there. And so in 2015, I moved back to the Bay Area to be closer to my family. And also at that point in my career, I wanted to pivot and into this really exciting new burgeoning industry that was called food tech. As a lifelong nerd and technology lover, I thought there was probably a really special opportunity to merge my passion for food and restaurants with my deep love of technology. There's just something really magical about mixing the idea of robots with the idea of pizza. It makes you giggle, it makes you feel delighted to imagine bringing these two really different worlds together. And I think what was so beautiful and exciting about that early period at Zume Pizza is we had that spirit of imagination. I mean, the segue for me really was this experience of becoming a parent for the first time. And there was something I think about the experience of being responsible for another human and raising another human that made me feel a lot of focus and energy around this idea of just completely rebuilding our food system so that it could be carbon neutral, climate friendly, regenerative. And so what happened for me was just this inner awareness of my purpose and wanting to make sure that the work that I was doing in the world was squarely aligned with my purpose. And so that's why I decided to step away from Zume Pizza and really begin working on Planet Forward. The mission of Planet Forward is to help tackle climate change by making it easier to bring climate-friendly products to market. And so what we want to do at Planet Forward is to help to convert our food systems back to those principles of capturing carbon and rebalancing the natural carbon cycle. And we can do that through what we call regenerative agricultural practices, or a return to indigenous practices of being connected to the land and managing the land. So at Planet Forward, we make snacks and we make software. That's a really unique combination. We make snacks through the Moonshot snack brand. And then we make software so that other brands can create their own carbon neutral supply chains and source ingredients that are also grown in this way. My greatest hope for Mosi, when I think about the way that he relates to the planet, is that he would inherit some of the indigenous or Native American principles of being connected to the world. To understand is that he is interconnected with his ecosystem. I want him to think less about his rights on the planet and more about his responsibilities to take care of the planet. When you decide, I'm going to try to be more climate friendly at home, right? I'm going to try to live a more plant-focused or plant-based lifestyle. I'm going to grow a little of my own food at home. All of these small choices, when you add them up, can make a huge impact, particularly if you share what you're doing with others. And that's how movements happen. We really hope that we're starting a new food movement that's all about living in a more climate-friendly way.